There you go, that's our Lincolnshire Pasty, or pork and sage pasty. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick, just making some pastry. We're making the Lincolnshire pork and sage pasty. The forgotten pasties, you know, all these local pasties are forgotten against some of the more well-known pasties that have been recognised, like the Cornish pasty. However, this pasty was around before the Cornish pasty. It predates the Cornish pasty. So we're just going to quickly make some shortcrust pastry so we can make these pasties. And basically it's pork mince, sage, onion, potato, and a little bit of salt and pepper, and it all goes in raw. So let's just make this up and we'll crack on. Now if you want to make your own shortcrust, there's a link in the description to make this. If not, just buy some shortcrust pastry. An oven will be on at 190 today. We're going to bake these for about 35-40 minutes. Because of the raw ingredients, we have to make sure it's cooked. I'll just put a little bit of wrap over that so it doesn't dry out as we're working. Okay, there's nothing much to these pasties at all actually. A little bit of diced potato, onion and some sage. A little bit of salt and pepper. In with the pork mince, that's our sausage meat, and it's going straight in a pie. So we just need to peel these potatoes and dice everything up. Let's get dicing. We want some fairly small dice on the onion and the potato. Don't forget, this is all going inside our pasty and cooking from raw. Put your onion in with your mince. We're going to get our hands in a minute and mix it all up. Potato, small dices of potato. Now over the time back in the day, if you were from a reasonably not well off background, farm or whatever, more potato would be used than pork. Of course it would. You're going to pack it out. Also back in the day, little cubes of apple found their way into these pork pasties. And traditionally, you know, you would have the pork pasty and it would have fruit at one end, and that would be the dessert for the meal. A complete meal in one pasty. Okay, we just want some sage. Now we've got fresh sage. Obviously if you don't have fresh sage, you can make this with dry sage. So we want some of these sage leaves off here, and then we're just going to run a knife over. And you can see how all these recipes evolved, you know, and obviously they were taken around the world, as you well know, sage and onion stuffing and all the rest of it. You know, and sausage meat in the UK, sage in the sausage meat, you can see how it all evolved, you know. Okay, nothing special about this. We're just going to run a knife over and chuck it in there. Okay, nothing more to it than chuck that in there. We got that going on in there. We just want to add a little bit of black pepper. This is going to be our seasoning. And we want to go in there with some salt. Of course we do. We're going to get a glove on. We're going to give it a really good mix. There we go. I think that will do. Well, let's get some pastry rolled out. You want an oven on at 190. A little bit of flour on there. We'll start with that first, and then we'll roll some more if we have to. We're going to roll them to about 8-inch circles. They're about 7-8 inch, somewhere around about there. And that will do. And then what we'll do, we will put these on a lined sheet. I've got 8 pasties, or 8 bases for the pasty. All we've got to do now is put some filling in, fold them over, crimp them up, stick them on a tray. Tray lined with parchment paper are ready to go. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is be a bit careful with the filling here, I think. So if we just do this, I think we're going to have filling left over. Okay, so we want some filling on half the pasty, half the pastry. Now I'm going to do the ridiculous thing as we normally do. I'm going to probably fill it too much. Might have to be a bit careful. Now with this type of pasty, because the potato is not cooked, you do stand the risk of it popping through the pastry. You have to be a little bit careful, and even with me, you know, I'm not that careful these days. So we could have some come through too. So there's no more to this than bring that over there as gently as possible and squidge it down. Now these things could burst open. Of course they could. And we are going to crimp as we go. Nice and steady, just so we can get rid of this off here onto that tray. Okay? So there you go, we've got that on there. Beautiful. So come on, over we go. Nice and gently. And squidge it down. Squidge it down on there. Now, I'm being more gentle than I usually am because of the raw potato. I don't really want it to actually pop through the pastry. Obviously, if you put less filling in, it's not going to pop through. There we go. Okay, because we've got lots of raw filling in there, I'm actually going to come in there with a couple of vent holes. And that can vent off. I think this way then, it's not going to be too soggy in the bottom using the raw ingredients. A little bit of egg wash on there and then straight in the oven. Fabulous. They look sensational actually. Oh, I do love my pies. Okay, nice and steady. We get those in the oven about 35-40 minutes, somewhere around about there. Okay, when you've had about 40 minutes, there will do. There's our Lincolnshire pasties, the original. Come on. There you go, bubbling goodness. We'll let those cool down. And then we're going to crack one open. Come on here. Oh, look at those. Outstanding. Come on, we want to be in. We want to see what the filling's like in there. Oh, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful pork. Moist, cooked. You got the sage in there, you got the potato. Oh, that is cracking. There you go, that's our Lincolnshire pasty, or pork and sage pasty. Come on, I'm a farmhand. Look at that, that pastry's cooked all the way through. And oh, look at the potato. Oh yeah. Oh, my mouth's watering actually. Come on, let's give it a go. Oh. Oh, sensational basic flavours of pork, sage and potato. We got a little bit of salt and pepper in there. That is sensational. Look at that, that pork is perfectly cooked. The pastry's not gone soggy at all with all the fats from the pork. That is delicious. Well, as a hard-working labourer on the fields, if I had something like that, I would be absolutely over the moon. That is a sensational, sensational pie. I love that pasty. There you go, that's our Lincolnshire pork and sage pasty. Very basic flavours, absolutely sensational. Pork cooked perfectly in there. The potatoes are cooked perfectly. Look at that, look. That's how soft they are. That is delicious. Absolutely delicious. There you go. If you like what we're doing, share with your friends. Tell them how easy it is to make a Lincolnshire pork and sage pasty. Obviously it's got potato in. That is sensational, basic flavours. That is delicious. If you like what we're doing, big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell. Or we'll catch you in the next video. Look at that. That is perfect. Oh yeah.